Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is the closing bell on the Stock Movers Report. The companies making moves at the close of U.S. trading with Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, Romaine Bostick, and Scarlet Fu.
Let's go to some of the gainers on the day. An easy task to find these. I want to start with Charter Communications, up close to 2%. We could say 1.8%. The company has agreed to combine with Cox Communications. It's a cash and stock deal valued at about $34.5 billion. That does include debt. This combined company would be the top broadband operator in the U.S. It would increase Charter subscriber base by more than 20%. It would position them to better compete in this converging market where you have the wireless providers offering wireless service. You also have the wireless providers offering fixed broadband service as well. So it is a really competitive space. We just spoke to Craig Moffett over at MoffettNathanson. He reminded us the core product when it comes to TMT companies, it's no longer TV, it's no longer cable. This is all about broadband. Once again, shares of Charter today higher by 1.8%. CoreWeave finishing the day higher as well. 22% to the upside today. It more than doubled from its March IPO. This after Nvidia reported its stake increased to about 7% of outstanding shares. This was as of March 31st. We learned this in a 13G filing on Thursday. Nvidia was expected to have about a 5.2% stake in CoreWeave after its IPO. That was what the prospectus showed back at the end of March. And finally, look at what happened with Virgin Galactic today. Now, to be fair, the stock has been beat up over the last few years. Shares just soared today. It was up as much as 98% earlier in the session, closed higher by 43% to the upside, a record intraday gain. Analysts encouraged by the space company's first quarter results. They did say they plan to charge more for its space tourism flights when it resumes sales in the first quarter of 2026. They've got this new Delta spacecraft. It's going to hold 6 people, faster turnaround between missions. Then they'll clear this existing backlog of ticket holders in about a year. Also, they made about $460,000 for the first quarter. It was slightly above estimates. Negative free cash flow, though, expected to be between $105 million to $115 million in the second quarter, Emily.
All right, let's look at some of the decliners for the day. Applied Materials. This is a chip equipment maker. They gave a lackluster forecast for the current period, highlighting the potential cost of the U.S. trade dispute with China. So the company said sales will be about $7.2 billion in the third quarter, plus or minus $500 million. That was roughly in line with Wall Street estimates, but some analysts had projected as much as $7.4 billion. So that stock closed down about 5% today. I'm also watching shares of Hershey, the chocolate maker, was down 2.3%. Additionally, Mondelez was also falling as cocoa prices, which of course is a core ingredient in chocolate candy, surged to a 3-month high today on renewed supply fears as shipments from top grower Ivory Coast slow, and also dry weather threatens next season's output. So go and buy your chocolate right now, Romaine. Those shares were down 2.3%. And speaking of food, Cava was also down about 2.3% closing today. The fast casual chain reported first quarter results and updated their outlook, but analysts said that while the report was positive relative to peers, the dining establishment needed stronger results to justify the premium valuation. That stock is up a ton since going public in 2023.
All right, let's check in on yields here. Third straight week where we've seen yields rise, both on the 2-year and the 10-year. You see the numbers there. These are your daily moves. 3 basis points on the shorter end of the curve, not much on the longer end of the curve. But it should be pointed out, you go back to where we were in mid-April, towards the end of April, when yields were actually drifting lower. The big bump up ever since then, basically since the start of the month, certainly concerning a flirt with 5%, of course, in the middle of the curve, in the longer end of the curve, and a flirt, of course, with 4% on the shorter end of the curve. 3.99 right now on your 2-year yield.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.